Welcome back to First Things First. We're now joined by Super Bowl champ Canty.
Good morning, Shannon.
Hi, Chris.
How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Ready to talk some football.
So we should talk some football.
Let's get to it.
Okay, Chris. Let's talk about one of your former teams. That was so good.
I'm trying to.
You're so close. Let's do it.
I'm trying.
One of your former teams, the New York Giants. Canty, there's a battle at quarterback brewing between two-time Super Bowl champ Eli Manning and first-round pick Daniel Jones. Whether you think there should be one brewing or not, head coach Pat Shurmur has indicated Eli will be the Week 1 starter, but he has liked what he's seen from Jones so far, saying that he's exceeded expectations and that there really isn't anything that he cannot do in terms of playing quarterback. Chris, will Daniel Jones replace Eli this season or early this season?
So full disclosure, I know Daniel Jones. He went to my high school. I root for him. I have a tremendous amount of respect for how he's handled the criticism from the media and the fans because the Giants took him with the 6th overall pick. But that being said, in terms of the answers that we're trying to find out about whether or not he's capable of succeeding Eli Manning, we won't know until we see him actually play in a game. Pat Shurmur is talking about how he's exceeded expectations and there's really nothing that he can't do. But the reality is, to this point in the offseason, they ain't done nothing. He hasn't done anything. They ain't done nothing. They're running around in shorts and helmets. I mean, you're throwing against air, and when the defense is out there, you know, they're in shorts, so it's not like it's actual live tempo. When you put on the pads, it's a different tempo, it's a different speed, and so it'll be interesting to see how he adjusts to that moving throughout the preseason. I think the Giants can do him a solid by trying to get him as many preseason reps as possible, maybe even working him in with the first team, because let's face it, Eli Manning's going into year 16. It's not like I'm necessarily focused on getting Eli Manning ready for the season. This year is about the development of Daniel Jones because he is the future of the Giants franchise.
And unfortunately, we don't know those things. Daniel Jones, I'm going to give him a little bit of a credit. And now I know that we have a personal interest because he comes from your high school and everything. I'm not going to flame him as much. But in college, he did not have a good offensive line. He did not have the type of skilled people, but he did have the type of training. In Cutcliffe. Cutcliffe has worked with a number of quarterbacks, put a lot of guys in the pros. He's one of the best teachers of young quarterbacks that we have out there. So I'll try to give him that. With the New York Giants, though, what were their expectations? If you've already exceeded expectations and you're a top 10 pick, what I think you were, a bum? Right. Like, so for me, like, they get their messages so crossed up. And with that high pick, Daniel Jones should be expected to play football this year. I haven't seen it. I didn't see the arm strength. Now his arm is not weak, but he don't have no cannon of an arm. And when you don't have a cannon of an arm, you're not a great athlete. I don't know what they saw because I believe he would have been available later in the draft. This is what I said. If Dwayne Haskins was at Duke and passed for the types of numbers that he had, where would he have gotten drafted?
He might have been undrafted, see.
I mean,
he might have.
Wow.
I mean, just imagine. Imagine Haskins has the same numbers that your guy has. All right? Because I know if Daniel Jones was at Ohio State and threw for 50, I know where he'd been drafted.
First overall pick.
No, there's no question about that. And that's almost
At Ohio State?
Yeah.
In the Big Ten?
Yeah. And that's almost.
Okay.
And that's almost.
We'll argue about that.
What do you mean?
No, we're agreeing.
We're agreeing. I said first overall pick.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so but that's almost a separate topic about why quarterbacks are viewed the way they are. But on the Giants specifically, man, learn from the teams that do things right and try to avoid the lessons from the teams that do things wrong. And by that I mean this. How did Russell Wilson become the Seahawks starter? They had a competition in camp, and he won.
They had just paid.
They had just paid Matt Flynn. How did Carson Wentz become the Eagles starter? They had a competition in camp, and he won. And they shipped off, was it Sam Bradford? Traded Bradford and got something for him because they saw the talent in Carson Wentz. What about teams that are poorly run? Baker Mayfield, drafted 1 overall, not competing, ineligible, doesn't matter what you do. Tyrod, who I like, Tyrod went out there, and maybe they could have won that game they tied to start the year. How about the Houston Texans? They drafted Deshaun Watson. Bill O'Brien says, nope, we're going with the veteran, going with, I think it was Brian Hoyer. He got benched the first half of the first game because Deshaun was so much clearly better, but it wasn't a competition.
With Lamar.
They at least let Lamar compete and then eventually take over. But listen, I don't think I don't think Daniel Jones actually would beat out Eli in an open competition at this point. I don't. But if you take him 6th overall, don't you have to believe it's possible when Eli is on the clear downside? That's the problem for me with the Giants in general. It's the constant contradictions. We think we can win right now. That's why we're not cutting Eli. We're not trading Eli. We're not asking Eli to take a pay cut. But Olivier Vernon, Landon Collins, Odell Beckham get to step in. Like, wait, what? We love Daniel Jones. I fell in love with him at the Senior Bowl. I think other teams would have traded up to get him, but he can't even compete for the starting quarterback job. Wait, what? There doesn't seem to be a consistency in decision flow, and that is, I mean, that just irks me from any organization.
My issue with the Giants is they talk to us as if no one else is watching film. No one else can question them. Oh, I watched all of Eli's tape. People missed. He was really playing good. I missed it? No, I didn't miss it. And Daniel Jones, whatever they saw in him, I missed that in college. So their current quarterback and their backup quarterback, they feel as if what they're watching, no one else is watching, Chris.
Yeah, no, they feel like that, but I think the one thing that we're not considering when we're talking about the dynamic of a quarterback competition is the fact that Daniel Jones would be supplanting a quarterback that's won 2 Super Bowls for that franchise. Eli Manning is arguably the best quarterback in New York pro football history. So, I mean, to succeed a legend like that, those are big shoes to fill. And the organization wants to make sure that the timing of it is right.
But you don't have no great quarterback history, though. No, it ain't like some franchise been putting out quarterback after quarterback.
I'm agreeing with you, but I'm just saying that it's a lot easier to bench a quarterback like Sam Bradford or Matt Flynn because the guy hadn't done anything for your organization. But on the flip side of that, when you draft a guy in the top 10, particularly at the quarterback position, I mean, there are expectations. That guy should be competing for the job, and we got to keep in mind that the most valuable commodity in the National Football League is a quarterback on a rookie wage scale because you can build around that guy. So it makes sense that the Giants move forward with Daniel Jones as being their guy. I just feel like this is the year that they have to focus on transitioning from Eli Manning. You could have made an argument that they should have done it a couple of years ago, but this feels like the season that they have to do it.
But even if you know he's your week 1 starter, pretend there's a competition, because then you come out of it with some confidence.
What about the rest of the locker room? Everybody else competing for their job. Why ain't that dude compete?
Well, listen, it doesn't make sense for them to carry a $23 million cap charge for Eli Manning throughout the entire offseason without starting in week 1. So from a business standpoint, they've already made the decision that Eli Manning is going to be their week 1 quarterback.
He's most likely
We might not agree with it. I'm just saying they've already made that decision.
And he's not going to be their starter to end this season. This transition is going to happen.
They said they loved him, but they also said Eli's got a couple years left.
We can't really believe everything.
Well, here's the thing. It's an important year for Pat Shurmur, too. You might have to consider that the coach might be fighting for his job. Who does he want out there as his quarterback? Does he want a rookie, or does he want Eli Manning?
The guy Canty went to chemistry class with.
Depends. Chris, we'll see you later. Coming up.
No, I'm a little older than that.
Is LeBron even a top 5 player in the NBA? And